Good evening, White Sox fans, and welcome to the latest edition of Hot Takes and Haters. The date today is Wednesday, February 25th, and as you'll see, we're in a different screen to start the show off here tonight. For those of you that don't know, the gentleman that you see on the far right of your screen is the one, the only, the man, the myth, and for you Primus fans, you'll get this reference, not the pseudo Mexican. He is our friend from the 108 podcast. He is the one and only Mr. Chorizy-E. How you doing, Chorizo?
I'm doing good, man. I like that the name of this was Chorizy-Duz-It. I feel like people get they like the Chorizy idea, but I feel like they sleep on the easy e-ness of it, And I think we're old, so like it's the younger kids they maybe miss it. So I like that it's there. I'm very happy about that to start off the show.
Right on, right on. I tried to get a little creative with it. Sometimes the juices flow. Sometimes I'm just, half retarded, but it is what it is, man. We're here. We're gonna yuck it up a little bit tonight. We'll get fucking weird. But we're definitely gonna talk about some White Sox baseball. But I'm gonna address the elephant in the room real quick here. Obviously,
Yeah.
you guys see that there is an empty box in the middle of the screen. My typical co-host, Jacob Dome, is running a little bit late tonight. For you guys that don't know, Jake is actually oh, Beefloaf in here talking about he's only half. Hey, half counts. Half counts. I mean, with a name like Chorizo, we got to count that half, buddy. So, but yeah, Jacob's a busy man. Jacob is doing he's doing his own radio show down on Decatur Radio. He's got a sports talk show in the afternoons weekly or daily during the weekdays. And then from there he does a lot of college and high school he's up in the announcer booths at a lot of these college and high school basketball games. He does baseball, soccer, he's all over the place. And unfortunately, the basketball game he was doing tonight, I mean, he texted me just a little bit ago and he said they're shooting free throws like crazy. The clock was stopped like all night long. So he'll be in with us shortly. I know it's a little bit of a weird look, but, we're
I
going to get through it, man.
I appreciate the big excuse, but I looked at the rundown. I know one of the first things we're talking about is the 108 tourney, and Jake was probably like, you know what? I'll be there after that. I'll get there after we talk about that. I'll be here for the White Sox stuff.
Yeah, well, you know what? Since you brought it up, and you are our featured guest this week, for a number of reasons. First off, I feel before we even get into that, I feel like this is a long time coming. You and I have had a lot of banter outside of podcasting and some of the events that we've met at and games and whatnot. I've had, Beefloaf on the show before. Ian and I have done a lot of stuff with Beef. I finally got MSS on a few weeks back, about a month ago or so. But I feel like you and I getting down and sitting here and talking together is been a long time coming. So first, I want to thank you for that. Look who's here, Jake. He said he'd be about 5 minutes late. We're about 4.5 minutes in. So
Nailed it.
right on. Yeah, right on. But yeah, man. Thanks for being here tonight, Chorizy.
Oh,
I really,
absolutely,
really do appreciate it.
absolutely, and yeah, you're right. We've hung out and talked baseball and talked shit just a ton of times. So it is kind of crazy that we haven't done this on a show together.
Oh, absolutely. So, Jake, I gave everybody the rundown of what was going on with you. But we're going to go ahead and give Chorizo a chance to, do some 108 promoting. Plug the tourney, do whatever it is. Give us a background on that, and then of course yourself for our listeners that don't know. I don't know how you wouldn't like. I don't know what rock you're living under, but if you've seen White Sox Twitter once in your life, you know who the 108 is. So, but go
Yeah,
ahead and give us that, man.
I mean, and in terms of Twitter, I think I've been on the longest out of the 108 guys. I was on Twitter. I think I think it's coming up on 17 years that I've been on Twitter. I was on Twitter back when you could text in your tweets, when pictures didn't exist, right? Like so that's how long I've been on Twitter. And so when we started doing some stuff together in the 108. So me and if you don't know, me and Beeflo sat in section 108 since 2008. And we just had when we first time we had enough money to buy some tickets. We grew up not far from the park, but didn't go to the park a lot. So we're like, we're getting, and so we bought a plan, and we said, we want to be on the lower level, the cheapest lower level. And so we're looking at the chart. Well, here, rated right.
Chorizy. I hate to interrupt you, but check the noise gate on that if you could for me. We're kind of
Too
in and out there.
too loud or too quiet, or
You
just
were
moving
yeah, you
away.
were in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah, so maybe get a
I'll
little
just move
closer. I don't
close. I'll move closer.
know. But
Again,
yeah, so you were
you're getting a
saying
lot of
like,
face. You're getting a lot of face, but it's it's okay. It's the moneymaker.
oh,
Uh,
great, yeah, it's a beautiful face. I said we're gonna get weird tonight, so you know.
but yeah, we were there. We went to sit in section 108 because it was just cheap, and we could get aisle seats. And when we got there, we realized, man, we sit right behind the foul pole. Like Jacob's got the perfect setup right now of what it looks like for me, what my seat. So like we got those seats, and we are like, let's sit here for a season, and see how it goes. And these dudes that sat in front of us, some guys from Northwest Indiana, we ended up like chopping it up with those guys, and we become friends. I mean, fast forward 5 years, and those dudes were at my wedding, right? Like, so it went from meeting them in the seats to the wedding, and then in 2016, by this time, my Sox Summer's sitting there with us all the time, and we're kind of like seeing all kinds of craziness because you're in the cheapest seats on the lower level. These are the seats that are going to go every time, and to the weirdest people. Like, dudes that bring in jumbo bags of food and eat for like 9 innings straight, just like from burrito to hamburger to whatever, full
Shout out,
and
Luke.
stuff bringing in. It's insane. Like everything that was happening there was insane. And we're like, we just need to like document this because we drink, and so we'll forget that this stuff happened. So let's just document it. And that's how the blog started. I mean, the blog at this point, I think next month it'll be the 10th year of the blog.
No
And
kidding.
I was reminded of it the other day because the first blog ever is on Avi Garcia, who is retiring. It was Beefloaf giving a defense of Avi Garcia. Obviously, didn't quite work out. So he didn't get off to a rocket start with his blogging, but it took off pretty quick. People were just kind of like interested in like what does go on in the park and who are these weirdos and what's this, and like, and Twitter was a good vehicle for that. And I had been there for a while, so I kind of knew the lay of the land. But yeah, that's how it kind of all started. And then a few years after that, and well, this will be what we were talking about just a moment ago. We decided, Beefloaf decided, I'm going to do like this 108 tournament, and he told us this when we were drinking at Bader Brow. RIP and peace, Bader Brow. We drank them out of business, and then we were we were there, and he's telling me and MSS this like tournament idea he has, and we're like, yeah, yeah. And I think I said to him, that sounds like a lot of work. And then I just assumed that we were done with like that was a fun conversation we had over beers, and that we're never doing that. And we did. I think the first one was only like 8 or 16 people or something, and people went crazy for it. And so like it's just keep getting bigger and bigger. This year, um, I think he said the field is 160 people, and he sent it around, and I'm like, there's people missing. I'm like, how could you have 160 people, and there's like people that you're like, this is a glaring person that's not in there. So it'll be interesting to see. Even with that field, there's going to be some snubs, but it's always a. I famously dislike it because, like I said, it's a lot of work, but also at some point, I got put in charge of deciding what happens when bots hit the tournament. So,
Oh
if
no.
you're not familiar with the tournament, you have these basically a Twitter poll, two people against each other, and people always like for some reason someone's gonna buy bots just to mess with it. I mean, like I don't know why they do it, but it happens. And so now we got one of the contests has like 8 million votes on it, and now I have to decide. I have to say who wins and loses. The prize is nothing, so I don't feel too bad about it. But I'm always hurting someone's feelings. Someone's gonna feel bad about it, and they're bad at me, and that's why Beef loves the 108 tourney so much because he gets to put a terrible task onto his younger brother. That's it. And for those of you looking at me and going, "You're younger than Beef," yes, f you. I'm younger than him. I've just had
Oh,
more
that's
fun.
good shit. Well, you know what it is you've just lived a better life, is what it is, and those
Exactly,
miles are the
exactly.
miles are showing. That's all, buddy. We all got some grays that I would love to, just for men that shit, but yeah, it is
Nah,
what it is,
that's a
brother.
that
Nah,
shows a life well lived, man.
yeah, you got to wear it, man. You got to wear it. So, yeah, you know what? I know that you guys take a lot of heat over this 108 tournament every year too. You talked about the snubs, which, you know, that's one thing. But man, I gotta tell you, like, I've paid attention to this thing for many years now, and I vote, every year, and I love it because it's good fun. There's so much great content that comes out of it. I mean, people get super creative, super creative, and more often than not, it's just real good fun. You'll get the people that are like swear away from the smear campaigns, and then you get the other ones that just go all out and like,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna smear the fuck out of everybody. It goes up against me, and dude, the memes that come out of it, the videos that come out of it, people are rewriting song lyrics. I remember Messi doing like obstacle courses a few years back. Messi Carroll.
Oh, she she
I
did
mean,
like a
dude,
she did like a whole overnight live stream. Like where and it was like there's no voting going on right now. You're just like gonna burn yourself out for the next day. Yeah, I think one of the craziest ones, like, and this is a guy who kind of came out of nowhere on Twitter, was Summer of George. He was like popping open four locos with a sword and then chugging them. And I remember the year that I forget if he won second. He was like it was he had like a really great finish one year, and he was like he's pounding four locos all day, and then like he won the match, and then he's like from his car, he's like in the back seat of his car, and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to see John Wick now," and he's just like, "I'm like, you're going outside after all this, like this." I couldn't be in the world after like 10 four locos. That's not
dude,
what
like
you should be doing.
three or four locos is more than enough, man. Like, holy Christ. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It is definitely a wild time. If any of our listeners haven't seen it, again, you're living under a damn rock. But if you haven't, be sure to check that out. It's going to be coming up here early in March, right? First and second week of March.
That's correct.
I
Yeah,
know.
we'll
I,
start in
I
March.
believe I heard B-Flow saying like you said, they expanded the field to 160 participants this year. And again, if you're not one of these people if you feel like you should be on there and you're not, I guarantee you that they've had to weigh those options very, very hardly. Like they put a lot of thought into it, so don't take it so personal. And there is no, there's no prize. The prize
Uh,
is being able to talk shit, like, really, which you're doing the whole tournament anyway for the most
It's
part. Most of these people, so
it's a lot of fun, and it's a way that a lot of people find each other, and it's really how the initial like White Sox Twitter community kind of built up, because there's all these little factions all over the place, and then like in this they all have to come together, and like it or not they come together, and and then but you get to see like, oh man, this person's really funny, or this person is does these great videos. Like I still think like one of the best ones that like best content of the tourney that hasn't won yet is Little Tina. Like she is hilarious every time. Like she has great videos and stuff, and I think like a lot of people have probably followed her from that and stuck with her because she's just a hilarious person.
she's like the queen of chaos. She loves to stir the pot, dude, which is
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. She was doing the videos of her like dunking on the Nerf rim in her house. Like that was hilarious. Like all the content tends to be very very good. So I'm excited. I'm always excited for that. I'm not excited for the bots. That's
no, I don't blame you. I actually had a chance to meet Tina for the first time at the most recent 108 after party after the Sox Fest. And man, I tell you, Ian and I were standing outside. I was of course ripping a heater in the middle of the live show, and we were out there. But I mean, she's a tiny. tiny little girl, but she's a force to be reckoned with for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, guys, check that out. It's good time, and like Chorizy said, the whole thing is you know, I bring this up on our show here on Hot Takes and Heaters a lot. Is we don't always have to have the same opinions. We can disagree on things around here, but the reality is we're all White Sox fans and we're all here for the same reason. We all share that passion. That really is just it's a good way for the community to come together, like you said. So awesome stuff. I appreciate everything you guys do with it. I know it's a lot of work. So
I
and
appreciate it.
but it's
Beef does most of the work. I'll be completely honest. And what's crazy is like a week after the tournament, he'll be sending us a list of like, here's next year's tournament, and it's like, man, it's like
see.
he's the worst NCAA committee on earth.
I wish I would. We started this bingo card thing, which we'll get into a little bit more later. But we started this bingo card thing earlier. Thank you to my partner Jacob Thome, who hasn't said a word yet. We're 17 minutes in, but I apologize, Jacob. But I give him all the credit on this bingo card thing. It was his idea. I have kind of run with some of it a little bit this year, and I apologize for that. But I also know Jacob's a busy man, like I said, and I may have taken some liberties with his idea, but it's all him. But yeah, man, I mean that's one of the reasons why we're doing this thing is the same reason. It's community. It's something fun for everybody to follow along with throughout the season. But I'm going to learn from my mistake this year of starting out as late as I did, and now I'm trying to squeeze everybody I can in the last couple weeks before the season starts. So we're definitely going to get a head start on that earlier. So shout out to Beeflo for getting those lists together, and like by the end of March and early April for next year. So, all right, man. Why don't we get into some White Sox talk? Jacob, I want to start with your hot take or your heater from last week. You remember what that was?
I do, and it is not aged particularly well. Sorry, I haven't spoken forever. I've just talked for like 90 minutes straight, so we're letting the voice rest for a little bit. We're good to go now.
So why don't you remind everybody about what that hot take or that heater was, or whatever you want to call it at this point? I mean, I think you called it a heater, but
I think I called it a hot take. I think.
okay. I was gonna say it definitely landed as a hot take at this point, but go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead and throw it out there.
yeah. I enjoyed Mune not hitting a home run this week, so that was great. That was the hot take from last week. I will say he's done like everything but hit a home run. So, I mean, if you're gonna not hit a home run and have the week he's had, then that's fine. But yeah, unfortunate. A rare miss this offseason. There's plenty of misses during the season, but this off season, a rare miss.
So was a Mooney home run this first week is what you were predicting?
Yeah, Moon ate a homer
Yeah,
between the last show and this show, which did not.
I like the prediction, but I mean, I guess he's getting warmed up, man. He's got to go out to
Yeah.
the WBC. I'm excited to see him dominate there. I want to see him like really kick it into gear because what I'm worried about with him is like going into the season and starting cold because it's a whole new league and everything. So I'm hoping there's like a little bit of that adjustment period happens in the WBC where people are actually trying and like
Yeah.
there's actually stiff competition. And so I'd love to see it happen that way so that when he does go get ready to start the season, there's not that slow start to the season.
He homered
yeah.
off of what? Merrill Kelly last WBC? Somebody. I know he homered off somebody on the USA team last year, which I'm pretty sure was Merrill Kelly, so that'd be fun.
I'll,
Yeah,
I'll take any
right.
major league pitcher getting homered off of with him. To be honest, I don't. I remember him crushing in that tournament.
Skeens would be fun. Let's
Oh
no,
man,
I won't call it shot. That's
I
not what
like
we're
this.
doing.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's get a big hot take right there. I like that.
Yeah, that one's on fire. But you know what? If it happens, White Sox Twitter is going to be on fire.
No one else is going to have the cojones to make that call. I like it. Let's go with it.
Yeah, Jake's coming in with the biggest balls of them all. It's spicy. It's spicy, but it's good. I like it. And the other thing about Monet too is like, dude, like he's obviously had a really good week, right? Without that dinger, but I got to give him credit for having the week that he had because the media circus around him right now. Now we've all seen the pictures and the reports out there that there's just cameras in this guy's face 24/7 down there. I mean, I don't know how the guy gets any sleep, to be honest with you, but or how he makes it to games. We saw the game that he showed up late for, whatever. He ran into traffic, but was that traffic on the streets or was it getting into the park? Because he can't take two steps.
Well, it's got to be amplified too, right? Because they're at Glendale. So like Otani's there, so all the media is already there for Otani. Well, after they get those bites, every single one of them is going to go over to Mooney. Like it just makes sense you're there, right? Like so,
Right.
it's probably almost doubled of what he would normally get because it's such an easy thing for them to get both things at once. So yeah, it's insane. And like they're talking about him in Japan and like how he can't go anywhere and he's just like gets stopped on the street constantly. It makes you excited because we don't really have a lot of guys in a past decade, right? Like so, it's pretty cool. It's like okay, I'm excited about this. It ramps it up for us after 300 lost seasons.
It doesn't help that all the Japanese media is already there. Like you said for the Dodgers, it's like Otani, Yamamoto, Sasaki, they're all there. Like it's an easy walk
Yeah,
over.
but you know what? I mean, from what I'm hearing, the media is in Mune's face probably more than any of those other guys right now. Like everybody knows, maybe outside of like Otani, because Otani's going to have them 24/7 no matter what. He's just that big, right? I mean, he's the biggest baseball star in the entire world at the moment. So, he's going to draw the crowds, not just from Japan, but he's going to draw them from every corner of the planet. And outside of him, I mean, we have like the next Japanese superstar here, or at least if you were looking at the media that's following him around and the hype and the stories and everything else, like he's it. And if we were again at the 108 after show, and Brooks was on the stage talking about the marketing and what that means for the White Sox and the money that it might bring in, and you know, getting that. That's how the franchise becomes a place where they can spend instead of just trying to get their way through a season when attendance isn't good because they're not playing well, and they got the fans screaming to sell the team and all these things. Now you've got all this there's this whole other market that you're tapping into, and there's huge dollars that come with it. So I don't know how it's going to play out in the end when we say we get 2 years down the road and what that money has done. And I wanted to ask you guys this, actually. I wanted to ask, if do you think there's a chance, if the White Sox look better in, say, like 27, if we get a decent enough a decent enough length of a season in 27, and Murakami is doing all the things, is there a chance that he becomes the first, you know, plus $100 million contract in White Sox history? And I would say it's probably going to be quite a bit more than that if he's doing the things, if he's doing all the things. But with Jonathan Ishbia, Justin Ishbia, sorry, coming in, Matt Ishbia is the brother. I don't know where the hell I got him with Jonathan. He's a baseball player or something. I don't know.
Like
Anyway,
a third Watt brother.
Justin Ishbia come in. We know he could be taken over as the primary stockholder as early as like 29 or 30. Is there a chance that maybe he has some influence on re-signing Murakami if the White Sox are in a position to become, legit?
I think it's up to Murakami more than it's up to anything else. Like, is he if he's doing really well, does he just want to hit free agency? And he may. I mean, like I think you know if I'm him, I went into this offseason thinking I'm going to get a huge bag of money, and he didn't. And he went for the prove it contract. It would be surprising to me if after he proves it that he takes the extension, right? Like that he doesn't want to hit the market. That said, there's a comfortability factor, right? And like if he feels at home here, why start over in another city? So that's something that like I have no experience with, right? I've lived in Chicago like my whole life. So there's not been like oh, I went overseas and lived over here, and it was difficult, and so I stayed in this spot. So um, I don't have that experience, so I don't know, but we'll find out if that's enough to keep him here. But like, I just feel like if he does really well, he's gonna want to hit free agency and see what he can get.
I mean, I guess it depends on like the CBA too. Like if there's a
Sure,
salary
it does.
cap, like um, like I don't know what Freddie contract is, but like obviously everybody's going to talk about the Dodgers. We literally just talked about them, and obviously they're kind of the cornerstone of the Japanese market. Like if the Dodgers need a first baseman and there's no salary cap, I don't see the White Sox outspending the Dodgers for a player like Murakami, especially if like he shows up the way that we're all hoping. But if there is a salary cap, I think it makes it surely a lot more easier, or a salary floor where like if Reinsdorf has to spend, I think it'd be
I don't
easier
think
for
there'll
him to
be one
spend.
without the other, but
Yeah,
yeah, I see what
exactly.
you're
Well,
saying.
it depends on what the salary floor is, though. If it's 95 mil, then that's an easy floor to hit. If it's 195 mil, then obviously they'd have to spend a lot. So yeah, I don't know. I think the CBA would have a lot to do with it. I do agree, though. I think he's going to hit the open market. I think the question is like, can the Sox sign him in the open market again?
Yeah, and I think that's actually a fair point too. If there is a salary cap, and we're looking at where the White Sox salary is right now in 2026, it's bottom of the barrel. They did do some more spending than I even thought they were going to do this offseason. Getting up, I don't know exactly where they're at right now, but close to 100 million if I'm doing the math right. I know we were thinking early on there was reports that they weren't going to go between like 80, 75 and 85 or something like that, and I know they went over that at some point, but still, I think it bodes well for the White Sox if there is a salary cap and we're one of the lower payrolls on that market, and we've got that familiarity that Chorizy was talking about. There's a really good chance that if he's doing all those things, that he could stay in Chicago because they're going to be the only ones that can actually offer him the money that he's going to be looking for in that situation. So
Yeah, I think the other side of this too, though, is if they treat him well, if he loves his time here, if things work out, that puts the Sox in position to get more guys from Japan. And like if we're a known brand there, if people that have come and played here, like Takatsu was very said a lot of great things about Chicago to Murakami, and you've got Iguchi, who's a big fan of it. Like if we get some of that going, get some people excited about the White Sox in Japan, it'll be good for if even if you don't keep Murakami for the next guy and the guy after that. Like have a pipeline to Japan.
yeah, absolutely, I agree 100%. And before we move on, I do want to get to the super chat. Emiliano Brito, we appreciate you as always. Really appreciate the support. But Emiliano says Ishby is going to pay Skeens to come here, and we get Liv done. Throw the bag, Livy. I'm a married man, and my wife was in the chat just a little bit ago, so I'm going to keep my thoughts on Livy Dunn to myself. But yeah, I mean, she's not bad on the ice.
Question to you: who are we putting more pressure on to fix everything? Uh, Ishbia's money or Braden Montgomery to fix the whole damn outfield? Like which one is getting more pressure from the fan base right now? Because I feel like they're both pretty heavy pressure.
Dude, that's how do you even answer that question? I mean,
I don't know. There's been a lot of belief in Brooks Baldwin over the last week and a half. So
I, I'm not a huge Brooks Baldwin truther, but I do like him in this outfield. I think if there's one guy that I'm like, I hope he makes them make a lot of tough decisions because he's one of the few guys with options. Like I want him to like just make it tough on everybody in the next couple of weeks.
I've
yeah,
seen
agreed.
Brooks Baldwin go from like what White Lurie to like the next Mike Trout this past week. I don't know. It's been social media takes for Brooks Baldwin have been crazy. Anyway, I would say Ishby is money, but that's just me.
Yeah, I there's probably is a little bit more pressure on Ishbia's money, but I gotta tell you the only reason that we're even having this conversation is because Brooks is out there absolutely ripping the cover off the ball, right? And the reality is in on a winning team, on a really good team, he profiles probably as like a super utility guy, right? He's got all these years of experience in the infield, and now he's learning to play the outfield. He learned to play the outfield on the fly last season, but he's done a really good job of kind of cleaning up some of his miscues early on in the season. And I don't know. I think that there's a chance that he might even beat out Acuna for the opening day starting center fielder. I don't know. I'm not going to say for sure,
Or the
but
strong side of the platoon, right? Right. So I
right.
mean, like that's still. We were kind of joking about this on half joke on the podcast last week because Beef was like, "What player on this team could accumulate 4 WAR?" And I was like, "It would be wild." But Brooks is probably one of those guys because he's going to play a premium position. He can hit home runs and he could steal bases. So like it might be the weakest 4 you've ever seen before, but it's like it could get accumulated. Like it'll be a lot easier for him to do it than some of the other guys, especially like Amune, who would have to hit like 45 home runs to get to that, right?
First base is tough, dude. Like those guys get
Yeah,
slammed because of the position they play. Yeah, I mean, how many guys like, and I do remember you guys talking about this on the show. I watched it, and I was in the chat with you live, and I mean, when you were talking about it, you guys were asking like, who's the last 4 WAR first baseman in MLB, right? And you got to look down that list. Like it's tough. You got guys out there hitting 45, 50 dingers and not getting the 4 WAR.
yeah. I mean, I think we were talking about Pete Alonso last year, who had a great year out of Pete Alonso, and was like 3.5 WAR. So it's tough. I mean, like you got to be in a premium position to rack it up. With I think Beef made the point though, like a pitcher is probably the most likely on this team, and it's then Shade Smith because I don't know who
It's
else
got
that's
to be
going to
Shane
be.
Smith. Yeah, Shane Smith. The catchers, depending on how often they play and how they're platooned, have an
Hey,
opportunity.
Colson
But
might get there on defense alone. I mean, if the defensive trends continue.
if the
but
defense sticks, yeah, man. I mean, like the defense looked good last, which is like I feel like we're
Bizarre.
the whole time like, oh, this guy he might be a shortstop, and then like we're watching him, and it's like, yeah, I'm watching him in the stadium and just thinking like, this looks good. I must be missing. I'll go after the game and look at Fangraphs and see, like what was I missing about this? And it's like, no, everything looks good. Um, that's the one thing I don't want to regress. Like if the home runs aren't quite there, but he's still hitting okay, like I'm fine with that. But if the defense gets bad, I'll be very sad.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like a shortstop when he's out. Just because of his size, he's built. He's a big boy, dude. Like, and he's thick. You know what I mean? He's not just tall. He's thick. I mean, maybe not quite as big as Frank Thomas, but it's like the first thing that goes through my head is like, imagine Frank Thomas trying to play shortstop. It's not quite the same, but it's in that realm. You know what I mean? Like, how long is this dude going to be able to stick at that position? But he throws the leather around like crazy, and he's got the range, which is insane. I mean, he's got a good fast step side to side, but even he said it at one point last year. He's like, there might be a time I have to move away from shortstop. Like as young as he is, he's going to continue to grow. Like we've all seen it. These guys in their early 20s go through like another growth spurt somewhere at like 25, 26 years old. And, chances are he's not going to stick at shortstop his entire career. But I mean, if you can get like, imagine him moving over to first base and getting that solid glove and, 40 home run potential or more, maybe. I don't know, depending on if his strength continues to grow and his bat to ball skill kind of sticks. We saw a lot. There's a lot of doubters in his bat, even after last year going all the way back to Arizona and then making his way
Yeah,
back up to the team and crushing bombs. There's still people that have doubts on him, but I mean, I personally, if you look at his career and you look at his minor league stuff, and yeah, even when he had his struggles, he's he walks more than he showed last year in his career. His bat to ball skill that wasn't there when he was whiffing a lot early on. That's not typical of his game. So I honestly think he takes another step this year.
I hope so, man. I would love to see it. I think I think what people are not prepared for, and I'll prepare you for it right now, is that like some of this is going to be a little bit of a tough watch. Like Mooney and Colson, they might strike out a bunch in the middle of that lineup, and it might frustrate you quite a bit. But if they hit 60 combined home runs, I assure you that will be enjoyable. So just hang tight. But I know Sox fans in general hate that strikeout, like the big strikeout numbers. I don't love it, but like I'll deal with it for a whole bunch of home runs.
It's all fun until it's like bases loaded, one out early in the season, and those two are due up, and it's back to back strikeouts and
Oh
fire the
man,
hitting coach, cut these guys.
the hitting coach will be the first one to get burned on that one. 100%.
You get one of them, like neither one of them are the fastest guy on the field. As quick as we say, Colson is in his lateral movements. He's not he's not exactly slow, but he's not an exact burner either down the base paths. So like, you get a soft grounder and you're hoping one of these guys can maybe beat that second part of the turn in a double play ball. And, they're looking like Paulie halfway down the line. And you're going, Jesus, what the fuck is going? Like, this is supposed to be the heart of our offense, and yeah, there's going to be some tears, I'm sure, but there's also going to be, like you said, there's going to be those moments where you might have two, three guys on, bases juiced, and one of them comes up and absolutely mashes one to the concourse. That's when we're going to have a lot of fun, and people, Twitter's going to blow up, the media is going to blow up, and I mean, fans are going to be on their feet. We're all going to be hooting and hollering, and then, but there's always going to be that contingent of people out there like, yeah, they still suck.
The next Eloy Jimenez, or
Yeah, right. Well, don't you put that stink. Don't you put the injury stink on either one of them, Jake. I will come for you.
I did not predict 74 home runs for anybody. I kept that out of my mouth.
Yeah, or 74 seems to be a big number in White Sox Twitter these days. I know you told these guys, we were talking about it on your show, like don't pick 74, they'll make memes out of you. And then I famously picked 74 wins in a 60 win season, or actually, I'm sorry, it was like a 41 win season. Just trying to be optimistic. I knew they weren't going to get anywhere close. I walked it back, but let me tell you, Ian and the rest of the guys did not let me forget, even though I was, a little tongue in cheek on that. I heard that one for, I don't know, 9 months.
I said before that season, I said this is a 90 loss team. I I was I was right in like July. So but then the extra 30 didn't help me look good at all. So yeah, I think that year none of us could have quite predicted the badness.
Oh, Uncle Ted, you can get that 6-7 talk out of my chat too. I don't want to see none of this. That's for the kids.
It's for the Southpaw bobblehead.
There you go. All right. So next thing I wanted to talk about, since we are talking about Colson really quickly, is Jacob's Mooney prediction did not come to fruition, but Colson got off the schneid today.
Oh, did he homer today?
He did.
Heck yeah! All right.
Colson got off the schneid today and got his first dinger. Smooth, easy power, looked awesome. So I figured I'd just throw that out there. Jake, what do you want to talk about as far as spring training stuff today? Get some highlights. I mean, there's some pitching I could talk about. I could bring it up right now, but I figured I want to pick your brain a little bit.
The issue with like this early in spring training is like all the bad people are still here. Like still watching like Ira Hirayate throw pitches. Like I don't know, wait a little bit.
We got to talk about what we got to talk about here. I mean, they're not going to start sending guys, back to their minor league camps right off the bat, dude. So, but I mean, there was some potential guys that could make the roster that were doing some stuff, and I figured I'll tell you what. Since you want to be a dick about it, I'm gonna turn it over to Chorizy.
About this spring training, I'll tell you what Beef sent today.
I'm picking on Jacob.
He just sent me the Jonathan Cannon line for today, and I'm like, don't try and make this into a possibility here. All right. Although I would find it hilarious if Cannon had like a great spring, and like then you got a problem because you've kind of already solidified your rotation, and there's not really a spot, but like him forcing something would be fun. I like the chaos. I like to force the GM. I like to force the manager to do a lot. Like you look at like the Caro Teal situation, right? And I think a lot of people should we trade somebody. How do we do this? I want Will Venable to figure it out. Like we haven't had him have to make a lot of tough decisions because he's had a terrible team. Like if I want to see him with a good team, I need to know what he's going to do in these situations. I need to know what Chris Getz is going to do when there's a bunch of guys that are playing well, and he has to make some tough decisions. So I want all the pitchers, all the fringe pitchers, to push up and try and be in this rotation. And then you got to think about like, well, we signed Eric Fetty, but it was basically a glorified NRI. What are we doing with that guy? You know, like I want to see some stuff like that. So I was pleasantly surprised by the Jonathan Cannon. I'm with Jacob here though. Like he's pitching to guys that are definitely not going to be in the league in 15, 16 minutes. So I don't know what but I want that kind of thing to happen this spring. I think there's a lot of situations where we get a we've got a solidified roster, and we shouldn't. I think we should let these guys play it out. Let some guys push up, and man, if I don't care if you're out of options, maybe you just get cut. You know, like they obviously can't trade you. Maybe you just get cut. And so I want to see some stuff like that this spring training because we haven't gotten enough of that because the team was just so bad that like, we don't have any competition.
Yeah, Jake, I think Chorizy actually gave you a redemption moment here by going down that road and talking about the bad guys that aren't here. So go ahead, man. I know you're dying to talk about Jairo Iriarte and some of the others. So
Well,
let's hear it, Jake.
It depends on how many vowels the White Sox organization wants to give his last name, and if they want to spell it right. No, I mean, like, I don't want to hate on these guys. Like, I don't know. Last time we hated on somebody in spring training, we got a comment back. So that's not what I'm trying to do. It's just it's difficult to form takes. Like Sam Antonacci's fun, right? Like that's a great story, and Tanner Murray's fun, and William Bergola's fun, and holy fuck, there's a lot of shortstops. But like, I don't know, like it's hard, like because Bergola was great last year in spring training, and then like didn't do a whole lot in the majors. So it's hard to evaluate these guys because some of them aren't going to be in the majors, and also they're playing pitchers who aren't going to be in the majors. So it's been fun to see some of these breakout stories, but also I don't know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. There have been some other fun storylines that I wanted to bring this up, and this is a horrible time to bring this up, but I thought it was a fun story today. Not White Sox news, but other news, and it was Mizuno honored Chris Sale with a sword, and I don't
Swords seem
know
to be
how
a
much.
thing in the chat today. Like
I
we're just
don't.
talking about swords and Four Locos and yeah.
I don't know how much research Mizuno has done on Chris Sale's career, but there is
I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. Here, let's
there's
give you a
quite
sword.
a notable moment in his career. It feels like that maybe I don't know of like all the MLB players to give a sword, he feels like he should be
Yeah,
towards the bottom of the list.
Yeah,
what are the chances the Braves bring out some like shitty woolen fucking throwback jerseys this year?
I quote tweeted that almost as soon as I saw it. And I said, I hope the Braves ain't got any throwback jersey nights this year. Like, because yeah, like them giving him a sword is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. It's like giving OJ gloves for something. It's like, what are they doing?
Oh, OJ had boxes of those ISO toners that they gave him when he did those commercials.
Dan Marino stole them off him.
Laces out, Dan.
That's an old man joke. That's an old man
It
80s
is.
commercial joke. I apologize.
Yeah, Jake will not get that reference. You had to be around for it. Unfortunately, I am the oldest guy in the room here right now on the screen, and yeah, that one stings a little bit, man. Thanks, Chorizy. Oh, you know what? I wanted to go back up to one of these one of these questions here because I thought it was a good question and I have thoughts on it, but I'm gonna bring it up. Wolf asks, as we were going down the line of like all these players, Jake was talking about. Tanner Murray came up, but Wolf says, "Is there any chance Tanner Murray gets on?" What do you guys think?
I think it's a tough road ahead uh, for him to make the roster out of the gates. I kind of don't see it.
Yeah,
Like, and because it, I guess because you're looking at it right, like the middle of the infield. I think Danny, one of your guys, is mucking this up a little bit, which is Lenin.
you
He's
know what? I am.
and it's like you start running out of spots,
I'm
and
gonna
it,
defend myself on that right after you're done here. By the way,
well, I think the problem is you start running out of spots, right? And like you you're gonna use Mydroth maybe as your backup shortstop, but Corey Lee throws a wrench in a lot of the bench plans because now you're almost certainly going to carry three catchers, and that really reduces those spots. You get a little bit of utility out of the fact that like a Brooks Baldwin or a Luis Angel Acuna can play infield and outfield. Um, but man, there's just so few bench spots to use, and Lenin, I don't know. He's this kind of guy where it's like, how do you can't get rid of that guy? You got no power. Like the team is doesn't have enough power for you to go like we're just going to throw 20 home runs away. And so then that kind of mucks it up even more. And so I think it becomes very difficult for a guy like that to to make the roster.
yeah, I can't disagree at all. I think there's actually three guys that really kind of muck things up. You brought up two of them with Corey Lee, and of course Lenin Sosa. And I'll get in my defense of Lenin Sosa really quickly after this. But Benintendi is the third fucking. He's like the third wheel on a date. You know what I mean? Like you're paying him a lot of money. And he's got this year and next year left on that contract, and they don't want to they don't want to eat it, and he's playing. He's had the leg issue, with the Achilles that they've talked about. And I guess it's not that big of a deal, but he's already getting a little bit older. He's probably not near as fast as he was when he was a young buck anymore. And when we're talking about figuring out this outfield or DH or wherever the hell you're going to put this guy, like he's going to be on the roster somewhere, and he's kind of mucking up some of those spots too. But I want to get back to the Lenin thing. Yes, I've been ringing that bell for a long time, and I go all out on it. And popular to contrary belief, or contrary, I said that backwards.
I
Contrary
like
to
the way you
popular,
said it. I think that you should just use that as a new saying.
all right, we'll go with it. But so the last few years here, I have not been the numbers guy on the podcast, but quietly off screen, I am very much a numbers guy. I just happen to like to play devil's advocate when we're doing this thing. I always had Ian, for years to be that guy, and I would, we would kind of run off each other. We bounce things off each other, and that was our thing. I've been less of that guy on screen, but don't get me wrong. I am 100% fully aware of who Lenin Sosa is. Let's call it a hunch, but I also am, I'm a little reluctant to let go of Lenin because I've been in on him for so long. But yes, I know that he had 10 errors at second base last year and 2 errors at first base. The large majority of those errors came in the first half. He did improve. But the reality is unless he like finds some kind of fairy dust to sprinkle on his glove this year, there's no position for him. I get it. But
But
like you said, what's that?
you still want him on the roster though.
Well,
Like if
you
you look at
gotta.
this roster, you kind of got to have him on the roster.
Well, the rate screams for home runs. We our team plays in a ballpark, 81 games a year, where power is going to be an asset, right? And you could say that about any team, but specifically where we play at home, we're in like the top 5 in like ballpark factor or whatever, and you got to be able to hit home runs in that park. And Lenin is a guy who hit 22 last year. And I know, like Sean Anderson, who shout out to Sean Anderson. Him and I had a conversation on Twitter yesterday about Lenin back and forth. And then, in the DMs too. He also had Adrian on the show today, on the CHGO show. So shout out to those guys. It was good. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But anyway, him and I went back and forth with this thing yesterday. And I found myself having to defend myself to, thank God, publicly on the tweet threads. And, I put a couple of tweets out myself about Lenin as well yesterday. I wasn't necessarily dragged publicly, but I had some people in the DMs like dragging me on this thing. And I have to explain myself like, listen, I get it, dude. I'm not stupid. Like, it is what it is. But how do you replace those 22 home runs? Like, it was one of the guys from the blackout grid was telling me like, oh, well, we can put, when the time comes, we can put Bonnemer at third and or second.
There's a lot of when the time comes, guys.
Meydroth at second base, and you're like, that's great, but if you get rid of like Vargas and Sosa, you're taking a serious hit on the power side.
Yeah. So let me say one thing in Lenin's favor here, because I think it's easy to trash on a guy who, when he gets the ball in his hands, we have no idea what base or what field even it's going to, right? So, like, it's easy to make fun of him, but think about this as an entertainment product, right? And think about you watching this entertainment product. If there was a couple guys on base, there's 2 outs. Lenin is a guy you want up, because as excruciating as it is sometimes when guys like that get up there, like, you love when there's a pitch over a guy's head and he tomahawks it into the gap for a double. Like, that, it's a ridiculous play, but it's exciting. When he's up there, you're not thinking like, oh, there's a first base is open, he's probably going to wait for the walk. You have never had that thought. You are thinking,
not with a 3.2% walk rate. No.
Where is the pitch going to be that he somehow spins off the end of his bat for a single, right? Like, that's what you're looking for with Lenin, and that's entertaining. And so, as someone who's watching a team that's going to lose 100 games, I'm watching each game as an individual piece of entertainment. I like a guy like Lenin to be on that team because I get those moments. And so, if we were a really good team, I'm probably going like, man, Lenin needs to not be on this team. But with the team that we have right now, I kind of feel like if I'm going to be entertained by this team, he's one of the guys that I want out there.
It's pretty entertaining defense too. I mean,
well, yeah, it's definitely a ride for sure. I'll throw this one last thing out there about that on my end, and the thing about Lenin is like, dude, you get anybody else up at the plate with 2 strikes, 0-2 count, you're going, oh fuck, especially with somebody on base, you're going, holy shit, like, we're done. Like, inning over, it's coming to an end. You're gonna hit into a double play. They're gonna strike out. No, Lenin gets up to the plate. You get to 0-2, and you're like, this dude's about to smack one. I've never seen anybody with a 2-strike count. It doesn't even shorten his swing. He expands his zone so much and makes so much hard contact when he does. You're like, something good is going to happen here. And I'm not saying he's hitting like 350, you know what I mean? But I'm sure he's probably, look at a 264 batting average last year. I'd probably say he was close to 240 with 2 strikes.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know for sure.
It was crazy. And maybe that's an outlier year and he could never recreate it. But maybe. Like, there's no one pushing him out of that spot right now, right? And like, you're not going to push him out for defense. You're going to push. He's only getting pushed out for a bat, and like, I just don't see that bat, and that's why, getting back to the original question, it's really difficult to see like some of these fringe guys get in to the 26, because Corey Lee and Lenin Sosa are kind of pushing that out. And a great point on Benintendi, because Benintendi makes you have basically 5 outfielders. so that's so I'll go off. I don't want to go off on another tangent about how I think they're going to misuse Austin Hayes and play him way too much. But I'll just say that.
Yeah, we could probably spend a lot of time on that subject. I mean, we just spent way more time on a Tanner Murray question I thought we ever would, to be honest with you. So, obviously it turned into a Lenin Sosa conversation, but nonetheless, it was there. Uh, the other one that gets me right now is there was a lot of hype around Jared Kelnick this year and how much it seemed the team and the coaching staff loved him. Off to a really tough start.
Yeah, state media is big on Jared Kalnick. I mean, like, uh, we'll have we're actually going to Garfine on the show tomorrow night, but he did like 30 minutes with Jared the other day, and then Merck at our show. You mentioned this on one of your previous shows. Like Merck at the 108 day thing was saying like how big the team was on Kelnick, and it's like, yeah, I mean, like every team every year is big on Kelnick that they're going to be the ones to make it work, and it's like, I don't see it happening, and like, I wish it did. Like that would be awesome if it's like we got a glimpse of how good Kelnick could be early in his career, and if we could get that, I would love to. I would love that to be in right field. I still right field. I get to watch it all the time, but um I don't see it happening. And so I think as much as the Sox would love that to happen, it just doesn't feel like beef and says Venable brought up Kelnick on all territory. So, I mean, like the Sox are really they're trying to make fetch happen here, and I don't know if it's gonna.
Yeah, what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I don't know. I think um, the entire like everybody has tried to make Kelnick into something. Like it's it's the greatest matchup of all time. Obvious hole and a former top prospect who fits the need, and it just never works. I don't know. He's never. I mean, I guess he's had some success in the majors. I mean, he had one good season with Seattle. Like other than that, there's just nothing there. And everybody wants to be like, oh, the swing change and all that. But I don't know. These things fail 95. It's not a bad move by the Sox. It's an NRI. It costs you nothing. It's just, and he'll be in Charlotte. I think. I mean, if as long as everything goes fine, he'll be in Charlotte. So I mean, if they continue to work on him in Charlotte and maybe he turns into something, and I don't know, who knows? But yeah, I'm not shocked that Kelnick is a guy that flopped or has so far flopped. There have been guys who have struggled through a 1 week of spring training and have turned it around, but so
In
far not
every
shocked.
draft, people say you expect so much out of a top 10 guy in a draft, and I'm like, you go back year over year, draft after draft, and there's so many guys that get picked in the first round. Some of them, a lot of them, even in the top
The
10.
Sox have picked
Yeah,
most of them.
I mean, but there's a lot of guys that don't even sniff the majors. You know what I mean? Like shit
Oh
happens.
yeah,
Like, the scouting reports that they peaked before they got into the draft, and it just never comes together. So I mean, there's that, but then there's those guys where you look at it and you go, this should be working. Like you have
yeah.
the tools, you have and I'm going to use the air quotes on this, the makeup that they're looking for. And I don't know, he's got a good baseball face and a hot girlfriend and whatever. It shows confidence. You know what I mean? Like, oh, can't take him. Bad chin, ugly girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But dude, I have to ask you this. So, obviously we had MSS on a few weeks back. Chorizy, you guys are season ticket holders out there in right field, and we've been talking about Kelnick and a little. We mentioned Hayes for like half a second, but I'm going to leave Hayes out of this question. If you had your choice this season to see Kelnick in right field or Dom Fletcher,
It's easily Kelnick. I I like Dom Fletcher's fine. Like, but I mean, like that's one of those things where it was like this experiment had expired almost immediately, right? Like you just kind of felt like they were like, okay, we see it now, and yeah, this isn't what we wanted. But
I mean,
Kelnick,
Popeye was a good clubhouse guy apparently.
I believe it. I believe it. I like, and I like the idea, right? But Kelnick is, he's basically if we were describing him, I think it's the mugshot of the pretty girl that like everybody looks at and goes, I can
I
fix
can
her.
fix her.
The whole league has looked at Kelnick and said, I can fix this. And that's the kind of experiment that I would be fine with being in right field if I have to suffer through something all year.
Roger that. Roger that. All right, we're about an hour in. We barely touched on the pitching. There's a little bit of pitching I did want to talk about here. We won't spend a whole lot of time on it because it is the first week, right? Obviously, guys are working through things, working on new pitches, working on mechanics. Um, and guys that are starters are coming in the fourth, fifth, sixth inning. You got relievers starting games. It's all over the place. And like Jacob had mentioned earlier, obviously we still got a lot of these bad guys that are just they're not they probably won't even be in MLB. They won't even be in the minors, by July. What it is, what it is. Unfortunately, especially now with more and more of these affiliates kind of going away. We saw the Great Falls Voyagers go the way of the Dodo a few years back, and now MLB wants to take away even more of those guys. So, having said that, there have been a couple of standout performances that I did want to talk about. We can talk about the good and the bad, but I want to start out with the good. I put a tweet out there. It was yesterday or the day before. That was yesterday. It had to be yesterday because Grant Taylor didn't pitch until yesterday. So, we saw Tanner McDougal come out and do Tanner McDougal things the other day. But what was really impressive to me was in his first appearance in Cactus League, he had like 7 or 8 pitches over 100 miles an hour, right? And then Grant Taylor comes out and does, he didn't have as many innings and as many pitches, but came out and did some similar stuff. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that, especially this early in camp.
I think for me, like the Tanner McDougal thing is exciting. I like we got to meet Tanner and interview him a little bit, and like he's personality plus. So like you're already like you're kind of rooting for this guy already. I mean, not to answer your question with a question, but the thing that I was thinking about, which I'd like to hear from you guys, like it feels like Tanner is closer than we would I probably would have thought, a year ago. And do you guys want to see him stay in the minors and pitch as a starter, or would you be receptive to him coming up mid-year or something and being in the bullpen throwing 100 miles per hour?
Uh, well, I'll start by answering it this way. If he's going to spend time in the minors, and people are going to say whatever they want to say about this, but I personally would rather see him go to Double A. I don't want to see him go down to Charlotte and get touched up because that's what happens when you pitch in that park. At Truist is it's a bad box. I've used the reference of it's like hitting golf balls with an aluminum baseball bat down there. And if you haven't done it, go find yourself a giant open field. You're going to need a really big place to do it, but it's fun. But I think I would rather see him go to Charlotte and spend his time there. And there's going to be those people like, oh, he never pitched to AAA, but I don't care. He's going to keep his confidence. He's going to see. You're still going to see a lot of talented bats down there, and if you're still avoiding those bats the way that he can, I think it's a good spot. I just don't. I'd rather him get the innings. I don't want him to come up and get 1 or 2 innings a week, especially with as talented as his bullpen looks right now on paper. We don't really know yet, but it's definitely looking better than it did the last couple of seasons. It's not anywhere near as piecemeal as it once was. I feel like I want him to get the innings and get the stretched out and kind of stay stretched out. But that's just me. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, like I think he'll stay a starter just because honestly, the White Sox are running out of space in the bullpen, which is a great problem to have. They need to find a closer, and you hope Sir Anthony Dominguez or Grant Taylor fixes that. But like in terms of fringe relievers, they've kind of solved that issue, and they do need starting pitching. I mean, they don't have a ton of. Well, I shouldn't say they don't have a ton of. They don't have any starting pitchers who don't have Tommy John issues. And so like I think he stays, and honestly, he could be up pretty quickly. Like he could move very quickly, just because the fastball plays and the command is gotten there, and the command stays. Like that's his issue. If the command is there, he's going to be a good pitcher. It's just that's the question. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, he would be a really fun reliever, though. I tell you that. But there's like a ton of guys that'd be like Noah Schultz would be a really fun reliever. But, I think think those three, I group them all together: Schultz, Hagen, and Tanner will all stay starters. If I had to guess,
I'm
I,
not saying that. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be a starter. I'm just saying that his quickest
right?
path this year might be
Yeah,
relief.
The Grant Taylor route, yeah. Or
Yeah.
well,
well, I guess if
Although
they don't,
I think they believe Grant Taylor is a
The
reliever.
Garrett Crochet route.
The Garrett Crochet route. Yeah.
there you go.
That's
You know
good.
what? I want to piggyback off of something Chorizy actually brought up a little bit earlier too. Was that Eric Fetty move where they signed him for $1.5 million, and it's almost like he's almost like an NRI without being an NRI. You know what I mean? Like at that $1.5 million, he could be really spendable if he doesn't take off early on in the season. If he's not pitching well, I see a path for Tanner McDougal to come up and be the 5 starter by like maybe May. You know what I mean?
Man,
I don't really know.
that would
Like,
that would be something though, right? Because he would basically jump Schultz and Smith, right? That would be.
well, I think he's
I mean,
more
that would be
ready
an
than both of
impressive.
them.
That'd be impressive. I would love it. I mean, I'm all for it. I agree with you. Like I think like if there's a guy that's ready to go, it might be him. So, but I mean, say that a year ago, right? Like people would
Yeah,
shout you out of the. They'd be screaming at you. What's wrong with you? But it's believable now.
All right, so I mean, yeah, it is, and it's funny how that works out. But it's a testament to maybe the fact that the White Sox have finally found the right folks to push development. And I don't know. I hope it's a sign that things in the organization as a whole are kind of turning around in that department. All right, since we gotten through that, you guys want to pick on anybody in the pitching department? Some bad stuff? Are we just gonna chalk it up to early spring training, or guys working on pitches? Or I mean, there was a couple of guys that really showed some struggles, and Beef had made a tweet about one of them yesterday that people were like, "Wow, I don't know," but
I just want to
I,
know why Chris Murphy's our union delegate. Like, how did that happen?
he might not make the team.
I know.
I don't know what happens if he doesn't make the team.
that's a good point.
He's on the outside looking in at this point. I don't.
Yeah,
He's,
when I saw it, they were like, "Oh, it's here's the sub guys, and then it's Chris Murphy." I was like, "What? What? Why isn't Davis Martin this guy? Benintendi in those conversations. Why isn't Benintendi this guy? Like, what is wrong with those guys that Murphy is all of a sudden the guy? Is he? I don't know his background. Maybe he's a lawyer or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
came out of like Northeastern. I don't. He might have actually. I don't know. Yeah, that's a bizarre. Especially like Benintendi. Yeah, you mentioned like Benintendi, Davis Martin. I don't know. Somebody.
Ian in the comments, cut and dry. New rep incoming.
Okay,
Oh,
but
man.
then if he gets called back up, is he like
Finding Giolito?
is he the intern? Jesus.
You guys, it's rough in here today, huh? Oh, brother. All right. Well, you know what? I mean, I picked on Iriarte enough. I'm not going to do it again. But yeah, it was not a good outing. Not a good outing whatsoever. Dude was all over the place. And when I say
And
all
they
over
already
the place,
don't like him. That's
people,
the thing. Like,
the people
the
behind the
Sox don't
screen
like
were
him.
like ducking for their life back there. You know what I mean? Like nobody knew where the ball was going. So yeah, and you're right. He's. I mean, there was times when he was pitching okay in the minors that you thought maybe there's a chance. Jake and I talked about it last year. Maybe he gets a call up, and he didn't. He got snubbed more than once. So yeah, it feels like there's obviously something that they don't like about him, and
They,
maybe this is it.
they
He's
had
got like a what?
opportunities to bring him up, and then like the only thing that Bannister would say about him was that weird stuff about how flexible he was. It's the oh he's really funny. He's a really funny guy. That like it's. I was like flexible. That's what we've got. You're touting this guy to us as the most flexible guy. That's just weird. So yeah, I think they hate his guts. So
I have a quick
this
story.
week is not
It's
good.
like the clubhouse yogi.
Quick story about that. So, freshman football, we all have like these one-on-ones. I was the worst offensive lineman ever, horribly coordinated. I was bad at football. And one-on-one football meetings, walk in, and the coach goes, "Well, you got size," and that was the end of the meeting. That's what it feels like. Or it's like the combine where the guy's like, like commenting on like weird body parts at the combine. That's when you know it's bad.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, yeah, I think we'll wrap up the White Sox talk there, unless you guys have anything I'll give you guys both an opportunity to get anything you want to get off your chest. Now's your time. Speak up or forever bite your freaking tongues.
I'd like to shout out
Small
my
hand.
chair for constantly sinking this entire show, and yeah, gonna need a new show. Need a new chair by next show. So
New chair, man. We've been talking about new microphone that stands up on its own, so you don't have to keep it straight up and down.
I think this is look for now.
That classic 108 view.
Yeah, I should spray paint it yellow.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, if that's the case, I guess we're gonna bring you all to the moment we've all been waiting for. I'll give you a little rundown here. We obviously have been doing the 2026 White Sox bingo card, presented to you by FutureSox, specifically Hot Takes and Heaters, but we're going to call it a FutureSox thing because we're going to try to get all of our guys on there with a square. I do have one that Sean Anderson actually gave me in my DMs earlier today. We were hoping to get him on the show, but I pretty much just running out of Wednesdays between now and then. I'm going to try to get Sean on live sometime very soon. Love that guy. Always good to talk with and hang out with when you get to talk to him in person. For a guy who's doing one of the bigger shows out there, he's very humble and down to earth. So we appreciate him. He's a or I should say, friend of Future Sox. But he did have our very own Adrian White on this afternoon. If you guys have not had an opportunity to listen to that, go check it out. Sean gave me a square to announce. And
If he takes mine, I'm gonna kill him.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you an opportunity to do yours first, and then I'll throw it out there. Since
No,
you are here live and in
there's
person.
no way he's taking mine. So go ahead.
All right. So, and for those of you that don't know, we did put it out there. It can be whatever you want. It could be something wild. It could be something serious. It could be something fun. It could be something completely, totally off the wall on the field. It could be something that happens in the booth, whatever it is. Something that we can look back and say, okay, didn't really see that coming today. Didn't have that on my bingo card, whatever. But we also want to be able to hit a bingo somewhere along the way. Maybe even get a coverall before the season's over. I don't know. But Sean Anderson gave me his edition, and he wants to add a Benintendi walk-off home run sometime this year.
Oh, I like that. I like that one a
I
lot.
really enjoy that one. I mean, it's a hell of a shout out. It might be one of those ones where we might miss a coverall altogether. I don't know, but when it comes up, it's going to be a fun conversation.
I love that. You'll see. You'll know why in a little while. But I think
Josh, I just says for what team? I don't think he's going anywhere, Jeff. They're not trading that contract
man,
unless they eat a lot of it.
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to get rid of. So I was like, I was thinking about this. I didn't want to do something that's cumulative, right? Because that could be done with at some point in the season. And I didn't want to pin it to like a single player. I wanted something that's very difficult to happen, but we could root for it all the way down to the last game of the season, right? Like, so we could be rooting for this game 162. I'm the idiot that picked it, and now we've got an empty square there that we've got to hit. I want the Sox to turn a triple play because a triple play is like one of the most exciting plays in baseball. So I'm always and like there's never a game where you're not sitting there. There's two guys on, and you're like, man, Sox really need a triple play right now. That would be awesome. So I want the triple play, and we'll be rooting for it all the way down. Hopefully not. Hopefully get it right away. But like you can root for it every game. There's no reason why it can't happen.
So we had this conversation last week and this came up. So not a triple play, but an inside the park home run. Which do you think is more likely? The White Sox get an inside the park home run or turn a triple play?
It's probably triple play. And the reason is that the Sox play, and I was listening, so I was thinking about this.
Oh, okay.
This is the inside the park home run is so difficult because 81 of their games are at the rate and
The
that's a
hardest.
very difficult park to hit an inside the park home run. There's just not enough space to make that happen. Like two guys got to run into each other, like and like be injured to have that happen there.
Yeah, and not get
And
not get dinged with an error, right? It's like two
yeah,
base.
and that's the other thing too is like so I think inside the park is extremely difficult. I've seen multiple triple plays live. I don't think I've actually ever seen an inside the park home run, and if I did, it was against the Sox, not for them. So, I mean, I remember seeing the Sox, watching the game and seeing them. Like Paulie had one, right? I think Paulie had an inside the park home run, like a crazy,
Yeah, it was
crazy
like a
inside the park one.
comedy of errors.
Yeah,
Like everything just kind of worked out, but he did have one, I believe, in his career.
yeah. So like I would obviously love to see it. But we've only got a couple guys where like the speed is even reasonably available for that, right? Like it's probably like Acuna and Baldwin, like that you would say are fast enough human beings to like even
Maybe
really think about it.
Teal. Maybe
Maybe
Teal.
so. Teal could be one, right? Like if they're playing them in a
A certain
pseudo
shade.
shift and like
Yeah,
yeah, and like in a big park, like they're down in KC or something, and the ball bounces around or something, and someone passes out from the sun, like and something crazy has to happen. But yeah, Teal's fast enough to do it if enough things are going on. But it's just so difficult. Triple play sometimes it's just a line drive,
Yeah.
So we'll see. Well, I'm hoping this one comes through. I put it in there because I want it to happen really bad.
So new information. The White Sox this year play at Texas, at San Fran, and at Arizona. The three
Ooh.
easiest parks to hit an inside the park home run.
San Fran, especially with those weird dimensions in the
Yeah.
outfield out there, like that's
San Fran's the easiest park. Like I think they had like multiple last year. You just hit one in
All
the
right.
gap and it bounces weird. So no, I do think a triple play though, like statistically, is way easier.
Let's do it same game. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? I mean, we'd have to do a whole show on the bingo card.
That'd be an automatic blackout.
All right, bingo. All right. Now we gotta start over. Everybody start turning in more squares. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna learn from my mistake this year. I'm gonna get started on this much earlier. I'm gonna line up and get dates nailed down for everybody. Chorizy, I really appreciate your addition. I do enjoy the triple play. Hopefully, it's the White Sox turning the triple play, and it's not being turned on the White Sox. But I think we'll accept either because it is an exciting play no matter what. I don't know, guys. Anything else you want to add tonight before we do hot takes and heaters?
Negative.
All right, well, let's do it. So, Chorizy, I know you've seen the show. You know what this is all about. You're welcome to do a hot take and a heater or one or the other, but I hope you were ready for this. So go ahead and give us what you have.
So I've got one that'll make you guys puke.
Oh,
So
boy.
I'm famously the kind of guy that I wait till absolutely everybody is out on somebody to jump in on somebody. And I did it last year with Colson. Everybody was done with Colson. Before he went to Arizona, I said, I'm betting this guy rookie of the year. Now the bet didn't work out, but I still love the result. Here's a guy that everyone is out on, including I can't tell you how long I've been out on this guy. It's a hate relationship at this point, I believe. But Andrew Benintendi, 30 home runs this year.
Oh,
That'll be the bat that we need in this lineup. The thing that we're dying for some power. We've got Murakami, we've got Colson. I got no doubts in those guys. That's not hot take territory. Benintendi hitting 30 bombs. That's hot take territory.
well, that means he's got to get started early, which I like because he's been kind of hotter in the second half the last few seasons. So I'm not mad at that at all. How about you, Jake? Hot takes or
So-
haters this week?
so
By the way,
I-
I do want to. I'm sorry. I'm going to
No,
stop
go
you
ahead.
real quick.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if you guys saw this in the chat. Before we get into that, I don't want to get too far away from the bingo card talk. Apparently, I haven't been clear enough about this. Southside Jeff asks, I'm all about blacking out the card, but I have to ask what the bingo thing is all about. The bingo thing is something that Jacob came up with last year, and it's basically, we've had a lot of discussions about it. It was basically something that we just wanted to create to have White Sox fans kind of follow along throughout the season, and hope that we can come up with some interesting spaces on a bingo card to fill. Like, how many times have you been sitting in front of your TV and something happens and you either see it on social media, you hear somebody say it on TV, you say it to yourself, man, didn't have that on my bingo card today. And Jake was like, well, you know what? Why don't we start this bingo card? Let's get it rolling. And unfortunately, we just did not get that going last year. So I kind of forced Jake's hand this year. I know he's been real busy, and I was like, do you mind if I run with it? And he said, yeah, go for it. So we just decided to kind of get this thing as far and well spread as we possibly can and get as many different opinions on that type of thing. We decided to get some of the most prominent White Sox Twitter people involved as well, too. And, just kind of make it fun so that we can all follow along throughout the season. And then when these things do come up throughout the season, Jake and I will take a few minutes during that week's show to, go over it and discuss it. And, it should be fun. That's the whole thing. It's all about, like I said it earlier in the show, and Chorizy said it about the 108 tournament. It's all about the White Sox community. We're all here for the same reason. Whether or not, we're into the same things outside of the White Sox, we're into the White Sox. We have passion for that. So let's just enjoy the season and see what we can come up with and have some fun with it, right? So
absolutely.
Beef Ass wins the full image of the car. I think the day before. I think we have a show the day before opening day. So that sounds like a good reveal date.
We do, and I am gonna put out a progress tweet to just kind of remind everybody of what the last few people have put out there. I think Jake and I are going to probably wait till close to the end to reveal ours, and then we'll fill in what we can. But we've got a lot of the FutureSox guys coming in that we haven't heard from yet. We'll have James give us our editor in chief. Dylan Barnes we'll get in from him. Haven't gotten one from Ian, even though we had him on the week before we started this thing. Which, that was my bad. I meant to ask him that night and just kind of miffed on that completely. I should say whiffed, whatever.
Miffed?
Yeah, I'm not miffed. I'm miffed at myself for not asking him. So, but yeah, we also have Beef Loaf scheduled for next week. I didn't think we were going to be able to get him on before the tourney, but he said it's probably best if we do it now rather than later. Between work and the tourney, he's going to be pretty busy over the next coming weeks. So, look out for that, but I will definitely put out a progress tweet as well. By the way, I've been sitting on this one for a little bit. I haven't tweeted about it or anything. I am bringing back my former partner, the man with the golden pipes. He is back. He's come back out of hiding. He took a little time off. Mr. Nick Morawski of the Good Guys Talk Back podcast and formerly of FutureSox Hot Takes and Heaters. So we'll have him on. I believe I have him scheduled for the 18th of October. So be on the lookout for that. We appreciate all of our contributors. Obviously, thank you again for tonight, Chorizy. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
I'll probably thank Sean Anderson for sending his over in the DMs as well, and we are going to try to get him on at some point. I don't know if it's going to be possible before the season starts, but we'll definitely have him on. As early as we can. Shout out to Adrian who gave us his first one, and all the other guys. Baloney has been in here. MSS, we appreciate all you guys. But I think we'll wrap it up there. Like I said, be on the lookout for some more guests. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time, and when we get that card out there, we'll blast it all over Twitter, and you guys can save that and follow along, and maybe we'll bring some of the guests back as we roll through those things as well throughout the season too. So, shout out to the excuse me, frog in my throat. Shout out to our chat as always. You guys are awesome. We love you. Emiliano, thank you for the super chat this evening. We really appreciate support. for the rest of you, if you can't, support us with a little super chat, we understand. Times are tough. I get it. But you could do us a big favor. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. It does help us with the algorithms in all of those good things. And we'll be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Like I said, Beef Loaf will be with us. Outside of that, you can follow the rest of our guys on FutureSox on the Twitter. Wow, I should just write out my closing. I do this every week. But we're not as organized. We don't have music and spinning records like the 108 does and all this other stuff. But yeah, we'll have Beef on next week. You guys are awesome. We'll be able to check out the rest of our shows as well. We always got Elijah and Dylan and Jeff and a rotating, handful of guys that Elijah likes to work with on the roundup. You can always find the Future Sox podcast with James and Ian every week. Those guys are awesome. Check it out. For Chorizy-E, our guest, thank you again. You can find him at X, on X at Chorizy. And then anything else you want to add about where people can find you and what you got going on?
Just go to youtube.com/from the 108 tomorrow night, every Thursday night, in fact. We're live at 8 p.m. Central. Tomorrow we'll have Chuck Garfine on to talk some shit. So definitely come check it out. Have some fun with us. We just we like to party.
And make sure to bot the tourney.
Make sure to bot the tourney so I have something to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to say this before he's going to come on next week, but you guys feel free to keep that hashtag fuck beefloaf thing going if you want or not. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm all about the love, but I say that with love to my brother out there. I should say my brother. I'm talking to his brother as we speak, but my homie out there, Beefloaf, we love you, man, but fuck Beefloaf. But yeah,
I need
okay.
the shirt. I need the shirt really badly. I gotta get a fuck beefloaf shirt.
Baloney and the guys, the bums over there, man, putting it out there, dude. Like, are you kidding me?
If they make a fuck beefloaf shirt, I will disown those boys. That's 108 shit. They can't.
Oh,
touch
was that not him? I saw a
I don't
T-shirt.
know.
I saw
If they
Peter with a T-shirt.
if they made one, I'm gonna break their legs for them.
It might be a singular shirt, but I saw Baloney with a shirt, dude. You might want to check that. I'm stirring shit up on the show here, but I don't know.
Time.
Who knows? It could be just AI bullshit because Peter's a pretty good creator, and he's always got some good stuff for the tournament. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, for my co-host, as always, Jacob Thome at JThome21 on X. I am Danny Miller at Danny Miller FS. We love you guys. We'll see you next week at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Be on the lookout. Might have a possible couple special shows coming up to see if we can get some of these extra guests in before the season gets kicked off. But we love you guys. Until next time, as always, go White Sox.